Okay, well, I am going to get started. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8, so we're close to a minion. And if we get to a minion part, and I'll check over to recount. Oh, Zion, only to Zion. Okay, well, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. This is Yom HaShoah and Erev Shabbat Service. I believe everybody can see the screen. Can everybody see the screen okay? And hopefully everyone can see. I don't know if you can see me. You probably cannot see me at all, can you? I don't think you can see me at all. Okay. So
Yeah, I've got you in a little box.
oh, good. Okay, good. Perfect. As long as you have me in a little box, you won't need to see me much, but just in case, there you go. That's the person that's talking. Okay, but you can see the slides, and that's most important. So today we are celebrating Erev Shabbat, our highest holiday Shabbat of the year, which happens, of course, 52 times, and also remembering all those of the Shoah. So we'll start the service today. And I just want us to take a minute to kind of get our heads in the space of we've had beautiful sunny days outside, and but we want to just take ourselves in and think about, okay, our spiritual spring, I guess, our spiritual health, and think about all the places where we look for help, all the places we search for guidance, and a lot of those for us are where God resides, and hopefully they're here. Part of it is here in our community where we can share together. So I want to start with Psalm 121. We haven't learned this song yet, and since we were online, I hope you don't mind. I wanted to take a moment and let's hear the master Shlomo Karabakh sing this version of it. And as we go, we will practice this song. But we're going to lift our eyes, seeking help, seeking strength, seeking where hope comes from, and we're going to because this is what this song means. And we're going to just listen to this song. And if you want to sing at home, great, along with him, that's no problem.
Madison, I'm having some problems hearing him.
Oh, let me see if he's not going to. Let me see. Thank you about that. Maybe we aren't going to sing this song with him. Um, Sometimes it doesn't let me share settings. Um, no, maybe we aren't going to then. No, I have it turned up. I thought I had it already set too. So, well, maybe we aren't going to. So, I will just read it and we'll move on just because I don't want to take our time to have me figure out why my video settings aren't correct. So it's a Sa Inai El Harim, Mayim Yavo Ezri. Esanai El Harim Mayim Yavo Ezri. Ezri Mayim Hashem Ose Shamayim Ve'aret. And it's a beautiful nagoon. It's do 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 do. So it's a really beautiful nagoon that from Psalm 121, right out of Psalms, and it helps us just get our attentions going and to help us move forward to remember that we're moving to our moment of memory and prayer. Just because it's not just Shabbat, where we're supposed to be happy today, it's also a lot about memories. So we're going to remember all those lost. So again, another adjustment because this is an online service. We are going to light the candles by virtual candle. So if you want to join with me at home, we can say this together. We are virtually in spirit with intention lighting this first candle. So as you know, during Yom HaShoah, there's a tradition to light 6 or 7 candles. 6 candles are for the million, each one candle for 1 million people who lost their lives. And the 7th candle is even a newer tradition, that it is the 7th candle is for people who the Vad Yashem, who all those who were people who have helped, people who have helped us, help Jews throughout that time period, that difficult Shoah period, hide us, protect us, feed us, take care of us, or even just give us hope. So we are on candle 1 now, where the memory starts. And if you want to join with me over this blessing about this candle, this virtual candle, we light this candle in memory of those who were lost and in honor of those who carried light in darkness. We do not bless this flame as we do on Shabbat, but we sanctify its memory. And now the candle 1 reading, there'll be readings for nearly every candle to kind of talk a little bit about, little blurbs to talk about somebody who actually experienced that time period. And this first one is Hannah Senesh. And Hannah Senesh was a very brave Hungarian-born Jewish poet, playwright, and resistance fighter. And she became a national hero in Israel for her bravery during the Holocaust. She died at 23. She was executed by the Hungarians after attempting to rescue Jewish prisoners from Hungary. So, so there are stars whose light reaches the earth only after they themselves have disintegrated and are no more. And there are men and women whose shining memory lights the world after they have passed from it. These lights, which shine brightest in the darkest night, are those which illuminate for us the path. So Hannah's poem that she wrote is helping us start this path of memory. Okay. The second thing I want to read is to remind people that we have been persecuted all through time, not just at the Shoah, but all through history. And Solomon ibn Verga in the 16th century was born in Spain in the aftermath of the 1492 expulsion. And later on, he had to flee again to the Ottoman Empire. And he did a groundbreaking work, Shevet Yehuda, and that is a chronicle at that time of Jewish persecution. So this is something that he wrote, and I think it's really poignant and very, very in line of Jewish thought. Creator of the universe, you are doing much to make me desert my faith, but I assure you that even against the will of the dwellers in heaven, a Jew I am, and a Jew I shall remain. Neither the sufferings that you have brought upon me, nor those you may yet bring, will be of any any avail. So Solomon definitely was telling God that we were Jews. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have exactly 10 right now, which is great because now we have the Barku. So if you'd like to join with me, if you do want to take yourself off a speaker, you can for this part. Otherwise, you can do it silently. So, Barku et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai Havarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Thank you very much. So we start our call to prayer, and we have our Mariv, our Avim. And if you want to join me, go ahead. If not, I will read this one in abbreviated version in Hebrew. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidaro ma'ariv va'aravim, umsader et ha'chohavim, barachai kirtzono. Baruch atah Adonai hamariv aravim. So we actually have just finished now this blessing, praising God for bringing on the evening and ordering time and setting the stars. So no matter what happens to us as Jews, God is always there with us. The stars and the moon are bigger than what we know, and there is a reason for everything, although we will not know. And we just have to kind of, when we're in this period and thinking about the Shoah, we just have to know that time is in order and things pass. So, Avat Olam. So, I don't know if anybody wants to say this together with me. We're just using the Hebrew transliteration. It's not the whole song, so it's just a few pieces. Avat Olam Beit Israel. Amka Ahavta. Al Kain Beshokatenu Uvkumenu Nasiak Behuhecha. Ki hem hayenu veorek yamenu. Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael. And so this was our personal and communal expression of God's love and giving of the Torah. So we've entered into our Friday Shabbat service. Now we are on candle 2.
Madison, are you presenting a slide?
I am. Everyone should be able to see it.
I
I
can't
see the slide.
Oh,
I see the slide.
Okay, yep. Because I'm looking at a screen, so good. I'm glad. So I don't know, Seth, what happened. Can you see it now or not?
No, it's okay. I'll just follow along.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Okay, candle 2 is a covenant. So the covenant, as we continue in prayer, we light this candle in remembrance, carrying memory forward into our words, our breath, and our community. So as you all know, God has made a covenant with us from the very first days, from the very first 2 people who walked into it and agreed to take the covenant as their own agreement between them and God. And so we're reminding ourselves that, God is there even in the hardest times. So I would like to talk about Primo Levi. Primo Levi wrote a poem. He was an Italian poem, and he survived the Shoah. And he named this poem Shema. And you'll understand why when we get to the poem. He's calling us to hear not only the words of our tradition, but the lives of those who. Does someone need to be on mute? Okay, thank you. Okay. The lives of whose humanity was shattered. So as we move from the Shema to the Via Hafta, we're going to listen now to Primo Levi's call to witness and remain connected. And you'll hear the echoing of the language we use when we say the Shema and Via Hafta every week. So Primo Levi, you who live secure in your warm houses, who return at evening to find hot food and friendly faces, consider whether this is a man who labors in the mud, who knows no peace, who fights for a crust of bread, who dies at a yes or a no. Consider that this has been. I commend these words to you. Engrave them on your hearts when you are in your house, when you walk on your way, when you go to bed, when you rise. Repeat them to your children. And this is one of the most powerful Holocaust texts to pair with the Shema in a Yom HaShoah service. So that's why I chose it today. So just like Primo Levi, I'd like you to join me in the Shema. I have the Shema on the screen. If you're able to see it, it should be there. So if everyone would like to join me. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kavod.
Od Malchus Soli Olam Voed.
And now we're going to turn the page. And now we're going to say the Via Hafta. I just want to let you know, for reading's sake, I broke some of the readings up in the columns. So we are starting on the left side and going to the right side, unlike real Hebrew, but I thought it would be easier for us. So if you join me in the Via Hafta, and we will continue Primo Levi's tradition. Via Hafta et Adonai Elohecha, V'kol avaka, Uv'kol nafsheka, Uv'kol meotecha, V'hayu habarim ha'ele, Asher Anoki mitzavaka, Hayom alavaveka, Vishenatan levanecha, Vidbar tabam, Vishipta b'veitecha, Uvletecha havadere, Ushachbaha kumecha, Uksatem leot yodecha, Vehayu totafot b'neinecha, Utaftam amzobetecha, Uvisharecha. Thank you. Okay. Now we're on our third candle. And I'd like you to join me in saying this blessing over the third candle. As I mentioned, we're not really blessing the candles as a traditional blessing, but really sanctifying the memory. So if you'd like to join me in the English, we light this candle to witness, to remember, and to take responsibility. Because the theme of candle 3 is witness equals responsibility. So candle 3 reading is by Milton Mayer. Milton Mayer was an American journalist, an educator, and a social critic. And he wrote he wrote a book, They Thought They Were Free, the Germans, and it was about the time period of 1933 to 1945. And I have to tell you, this one really hit home for me. So it had a lot to say about the Shoah and maybe some things that we forgot about that we really didn't study that maybe have some historical rhyming to what's happening today in our lives. So I'm going to read Milton Mayer for you. According to my colleague, what happened here was the gradual habituation of the people, little by little, to being governed by surprise, to receiving decisions made in secret, to believing that the situation was too complicated for public understanding or too dangerous for full disclosure. Over time, this gap widened. Trusted leadership made it easier to accept what could not be questioned. In private, people spoke to one another. Some were uneasy, others were not. But the response was often the same. It's not so bad. You're overreacting. You're an alarmist. And so no protest comes together. No shared moment of refusal emerges. People wait for one great shocking occasion when everyone will finally see and respond together. But that moment never arrives. Instead, there are many small steps, each one only slightly worse than the last, each one making the next easier to accept. And so, what once would have been unthinkable becomes normal step by step. And this was written by Mayer in an attempt to understand how good people could allow such a terrible thing to happen. We continue now in memory and responsibility with our service. Emet ve'emunah. So we are talking about the truth in God. And so if you would like to join me for this statement, it's in English. True and faithful are you in
all generations.
We affirm what we cannot always see,
see,
that life endures, that hope can rise again, and that meaning can be rebuilt. Yeah, Emet ve'emunah, true and certain. And now we're continuing with the Shabbat portion for me, Kamoka. So I'm going to sing this part, and I hope you're going to join me. The awe-aspiring God, there is none like you. We sing this song in memory and in hope. Mi
kamocha
kamocha be'elim Adonai.
Adonai.
Mi
Mi kamocha
kamocha
Neraba
nerabako
Kodesh.
no
No one Tehilot. Oh, say
Oseh.
Feleh.
Malkutaka Ra'uvaneka Boheayam Lifnei Moshe Umiram. Zeali Anu Ve'amru Adonai Yimlok
Leolam Ba'ed.
B'nei Amar Kifara Adonai et Yaakov. Ugalo Miyad Hazek Mimenu. Baruch
Baruch
Atah
atah Adonai,
Adonai Gaal
Elohe
Yisrael.
Yisrael.
Okay. Okay. Excuse me. Hashivenu. So if you want to join me on the Hashivenu as well, we're going to do the first line in Hebrew and the second the next two lines in English. Hashivenu Adonai Eleka Venashuva. Help us
Let's
return to
return
what
to
is
what is
true.
true.
Renew
Renew
our
our
days,
days with
strength and
strength and
purpose,
purpose, so
so
that
that
we
we
may
may
act
act with
with
courage. Again, our Hebrew Shabbat service is filled with things to help us remember God, remember the goodness of God, the greatness of God, and we remember Him every week and hopefully every day, not just when we're remembering those that we've lost. Okay, so just a really quick, short board, not very long here. I wanted to talk about B'Tselem Elohim, and that is in the image of God. That's what that means. It means every human being carries divine worth and moral responsibility. So there's a teaching in our tradition that human beings are created B'Tselem Elohim, in the image of God. And from the Mishnah, we further learn that Kol Yisrael Aravim Ze Bazeh. All of Israel is responsible for one another. Our tradition holds these two truths together, that every human being carries infinite worth and that we are bound to one another in responsibility. This week's Parsha, Tisara Mitzorah, teaches about a person who experiences Zara'at. So those are those skin diseases, and is temporarily separated from the community. The Torah does not treat this separation as abandonment, but as a space for reflection, and healing. Because I'm not sure if you remember, but Za'ara'at was from evil speech. So when we talk evil against each other, they believed that this is how this skin disease happened. And that space, though, for reflection when they were removed from the community was always guided by the ability to return. It was also responsibility of the community to make sure that those people were checked on as well. They were never left behind. So our sages understood Za'ara'at not only as a physical condition, but as something that can reflect the moral weight of our words and actions. And yet the goal of the Torah is never isolation, it is restoration. The Metzorah does not remain outside forever. There is always a path back into relationship, back into belonging, back into life. So as we move through memory and prayer today, we are not only remembering what was done to human beings, we are remembering what it means to be human. And to be human is to recognize the image of God in one another, take responsibility for one another, and to rebuild the connection even after rupture. And that was a hard thing to do back then, was to make sure that we were part of the solution and not just witnesses to the problem. So we continue forward in our service, and we're going to light our fourth candle. And this is the candle of resilience. So if you want to join me, the blessings on the screen for this candle. We light this candle for the strength that survived, the courage that endured, and the resilience that still guides us forward. So at this stage, we are recognizing the 4 million, or at 4 million people who have died. As I said, each candle is a million people. But this candle, we represent the quiet acts of resistance, the choices that preserve dignity, and the insistence that every life has worth. And there was a little reflection that I wanted to read, and it was kind of interesting. There were people who learned to notice everything: the tone of a voice, the sound of footsteps. There were people who still held on to small hopes because small things can carry a person through large fear. Okay, I would like you to join me, and this is a special responsive Amidah for Yom HaShoah. So on the left side, we'll start, and then we'll go to the right side. So I will start. Adonai Savtai Tita, Ufi Yagit Tehila Teka. Adonai, open up my lips, and everyone says with me, and let our mouths
declare your praise.
You are the God of our ancestors, the one who remembers all generations.
We stand
Stand in the presence of those before us and those whose voices were silent. You give life to all that lives, and you call us to guard the life you have given. May we honor that gift with courage and compassion. You sustain us through memory and strengthen us through responsibility. Help us rebuild what was broken and restore what was lost. You are the one who brings us back to one another. May our steps lead towards justice and our choices towards peace. Blessed are you, Adonai, the one who hears our prayer. And I hope you all join me together in a great Amen. Thank you very much. Okay. And as we always end the Amidah, say Shalom Aleinu, Ve'yavo Yisrael V'imru, Amen. Yahweh Shalom, Yahweh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Yahweh Yisrael, Yahweh Shalom, Yahweh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Yahweh Yisrael, Yahweh Yoshvei Tevel, and we all say together, Amen. Okay. Now, is there anyone, you can unmute yourself for a minute. Is there anyone who is praying for anyone for healing at this time? If you have a name, you can unmute yourself and say the name. Go ahead, Seth.
Bethany Dell, Jane Goldman.
Patty Cassidy and Barbara Myers.
Thank you. Anyone else? So, David, I had a hard time hearing you, but I just have to, in faith, just say
Francine Laskin, Lee Ducod, and Carol Gessing.
thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Well, now we are going to say our Misha Barak prayer. It's on the screen. And so we will do it the same way we do every synagogue service. Misha Barak. Kor bracha Imotenu, may the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Thank you. So we are heading to candle 5 now. Candle 5 is the continuity of life. And one of the things I wanted to talk about as we make this turn from remembering to understanding the consequences and the covenant that God gave us, and then going into responsibility, that we have a responsibility to continue to hold these memories alive. We're talking about a very difficult task, and that's continuity of life. And I just want you to think back for a moment how hard it must have been to survive the Shoah, or in the 16th century to survive a persecution. And now you have to live life again. And you have to live life, and many of you as soldiers in the military, you probably understand what maybe that felt like when you left people behind, and then you have to continue forward. You have to continue to celebrate your holidays, and you just have to live. And almost more so, you feel a duty to live because others can't. So I just want us to think a moment of the fact that restarting your life after a Shoah, after any difficulty, whether it's a health issue or something, is difficult. But we are really commanded to get back in there. And with Jews, we have these life cycle events that make the calendar move. As we said earlier, God turns on the calendar. He gets the day moving, the night moving. And because we are designed to live, he wants us to live. He wants us to have joy and peace. And we need to continue this life to do it. So just think about, it's tough. And one of the ways that we can continue to have those that have passed before us have their life is by using sharing their memories. And so candle 5, the continuity of life, we're going to say this blessing. So I invite you to say this blessing with me. We light this candle for the days that continued, for the generations that followed, and for the sacred work of counting our way forward. As we honor memory, we also affirm the future, one day, one step, one act of courage at a time. So I want to tell you a funny little story when I was preparing this service for online. Hugo Grin is going to be the reading that we do next. And the reason why I'm holding off is you see this Hanukkah, and it has 5 candles. And so I was looking for a picture with 5 candles. And you would think on the internet there would be a million of those, but it was really hard to find one with just 5 candles. And so I found this Hanukkah, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to talk about how it is hard to restart your life. And for those of you who've done any reading about Holocaust survivors, you will know that a lot restarted their life, and some never did really restart their life. So God really encourages us to restart their life. So I saw this Hanukkah because that's a good example about how people even lived during the Holocaust. They continued these life cycle moments that God has asked us to observe. And so I had this picture of the Hanukkah. And then all of a sudden, I found the person we were going to talk about had a special story about being in Auschwitz about a Hanukkah. And it just worked out perfectly. So I really believe God wanted me to share this little clip with you. So in Auschwitz, Hugo's father saved a teeny piece of margarine to light for Hanukkah. Hugo protested, "Father, wouldn't it be better to eat this?" His father replied, "Hugo, a person can live for a long time without food, but a person cannot live a single day without hope." So those margarine calories would have went a long distance in those days. And I believe Hugo's father did not make it, but Hugo did. I apologize. That note is not in my head right now. But yet, this Hanukkah hope from one little pat of margarine. So we are also going to count the Omer now. Today is April 17th, Rosh Chodesh Iyar. So again, a new moon, a new month, a new counting. God continues in all his works. You notice over and over when you stop to look how much he's telling us, move forward, live, move forward, live. And we just bring that out today. So if you would join me in the blessing, I'm going to do it twice. So you can join me either in the Hebrew or you can join me in the English. And if not, we're all going to say in English the today's count. So here we go. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu al sefirat ha-omer. Blessed are you, eternal our God, sovereign of the universe, who makes us holy with commandments and commands us to count the Omer. So if you haven't joined us before, please count today's count. Today is the 16th day of the Omer, which is 2 weeks and 2 days. Thank you. Aleinu, we're going to sing this pretty close to our regular Aleinu. We're just going to take a pause at the end of this page. So if you'd like to join me in Aleinu, please do. Aleinu le'shaber ladon hakol la'tei tigula yotzer bereshit shelo asan kegoy haratzot v'lo samanu kemishpochot adama
Osam Helkinu Kahem Begolinu Kachol Hamonam
So lift your
Utorim,
Banapnu
Korim Mishtachvavim Umodim
Lefnei Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Take a quick pause before we finish. Al Kain. I didn't know if you know, we actually do this every week. We just kind of go so fast. And when we do this, a lot of times you'll see me pause for a minute and I'm reading something, especially when we're in Lev Shalem. This is the part I read and we pause and I say a couple things and then we finish up our ending. But today, because it is about hope, we are going to read one of these Al Kain versions in English. So please join me or listen to me read. Our world is in the process of being repaired through us and within us. We look to the future with hope. All that has divided us will begin to heal. Women and men will be both gentle and strong. No person will be subject to another's will. All will be rich in freedom and varied in spirit. Greed will give way to the needs of the many. We will care for the sick, the weak, and the old. We will nourish the young, cherish all creatures, and live in harmony upon the earth. V'haya Adonai hamelech al kol haaretz. Bayom hahu, bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad. Ushmo, ushmo, ushmo echad. And that is such a beautiful prayer. This is obviously a paraphrase. And I hope for the day soon that we can do all this. Amazing. So it's our Al Kain, it's our hope. Now we're going to turn to our next candle. Our next candle is dignity of memory. And as we talked before, again, our biggest responsibility right now, and it's a very important responsibility, is this dignity of memory. To make sure that we are presenting the memory of what happened in the Shoah, what happened in the expulsion, whichever event that we want to memorialize in a dignified way so that younger generations can understand the seriousness of what happens when society does not value its Jews. So candle 6, again, we are going to virtually light it by saying the blessing. So if you'd like to join me together in English, we light this
Light this
candle in
in
memory
of
of
those
those
whose
whose
lives we carry forward.
forward.
Memory
Memory
is
Memory
is
is not
not
only
about
about
what
what
was
was
taken,
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 but what
but what
remains with us
remains
now.
with us now.
now. Thank you. Oop. So in a minute, we're going to go to Yizkor, okay? And this is an abbreviated English version of Yizkor. So I would like you to join with me. You can listen if you want. Otherwise, we say the last line all together. May God remember the souls of our brothers and sisters who perished in the Shoah, those whose names are known, and those whose names are lost. May their memory be a blessing and a light. May we honor their lives through justice, compassion, and the work of repairing our world. In their memory, we say, please join me. Yizkor Elohim, may God remember. Thank you. And we still have 10. Well, we have more than 10. Thank you. So I'm going to stop before we do Mourner's Kaddish. Is anyone today observing a yard site? And these are personal yard sites today? No, no personal yard sites? Don't see any. Okay. So today, in keeping with the theme, we are really thinking about those who have lost their lives tragically and any of the times of Jewish persecution. And so that's really who this Mourner's Kaddish is for. So if you'd like to join me in the Mourner's Kaddish, please go ahead. Otherwise, intentionally just pray along with me. Yet Gadal,
Yikadash Murata, Biyama
Kevlar,
Raf
Kar,
Tev
Yamute,
Yamlik
Yamute,
Malkute,
B'chayhon Yomechon Uchaye Dekol Israel, Ba'ala Yom Kari V'Yimru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Barach Le'olam
Le'olam Kol
Maya
Ve'omaya,
Barach
Yitbarach,
Yishtabach V'Yit'ar V'Yit'avam V'Yitniseh
Yet
Yetadar V'Yitalev V'Yitalal Shmei D'Kusha B'Rechu
Osir Shalom,
Uya Say Shalom Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael V'Yimru Amen.
Amen. Amen. Psalm 23. Adonai is my shepherd, I shall not want. God makes me lie down in green pastures, and he leads me beside still waters, and he restores my soul. Even when I walk through the valley of the deepest shadow, I will fear no harm, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of Adonai all the days of my life. Thank you. Now we continue more towards Shabbat, more towards what we do every weekend. We talk about the human choice of worshiping together, not worshiping together, feeling God's presence, but we talk about righteousness more. How do we be a righteous person? What is a righteous person? What does righteousness look like back in the Torah? And what does righteousness look back today? We talk about all those things. We are fortunate that most of us haven't had to live those things and observe those things. But I challenge us that maybe we are going through a period where we see these choices now and we see the righteousness or the lack of righteousness among some people, and we are now having to take a look. And at least for ourselves, since we can't make decisions for others, right? At least for ourselves, we are choosing the righteous path as best as we can. These are the stories of people who have saved others. These are the people that didn't have to help, but did. Those that could not stand by and watch things happen without helping. And so I want to tell you one small little story. And I think most of you know this story. The ending of the story. Everyone knows the beginning of the story. And this story is about human choice and righteousness. So Anne Frank's father, after the war, he came home and he found that he was the only survivor. And he was passed a note by an anonymous person saying who had betrayed his family. So he knew, or at least he believed he knew, what had happened. And he had to make a choice. He could have been angry. He could have been mad. He could have sought revenge. He could have done lots of things. He could have publicly humiliated this person who still had, and he could have prosecuted this person who still had family and children living in the neighborhood where he was, or where he used to live when he was in hiding with his family. But he didn't. So there's two choices we need to look at. There's the choices of the people who helped the hiders. They helped preserve the family's life for as long as they can. And then we have choices as Jews. What do we do, and how do we look at those who weren't as helpful, who sat by and didn't do anything, or because in the story of Anne Frank's, as they call him, the betrayer, had traded the life of the Frank family for his life and his family's life. So that family made a hard decision. So what does righteousness look like? Anne Frank's father never really spoke publicly about it. But my understanding from recent letters with his secretary, or however that was, that he had known all along since he got back, and yet he had peace with it. And some speculate that the reason because that he did is because that he knew, or he felt, that if he was in the same position, he might have made the same decision. Sometimes we are faced with terrible, terrible choices, and they're not just games for us. We don't get to pick, is this a story we're learning in a games theory class? It's real life. And so he came out of the Shoah and had a great, profound understanding that no more Jews should be killed regardless. And that's how I took that story of the ending. Now, it's not 100% sure that this is indeed what happened. It's based on some information and the witnesses that were alive after he passed away. But that's what we think what happened. And now they've done some more research about 5 to 7 years ago, I think. And the private independent FBI group, retired group who studied it, felt that indeed was the case. And the clue that cracked the case was actually a note card he had hidden in his books the whole time. So he made a decision. So we will have decisions to make in our life. I hope they're not as serious as that, but that's what we do every Shabbat. We sit together and we learn about the choices, and we learn about righteousness. So when that time comes, we are prepared to make the best decision we can. So thank you for that little side trip. And I'd hope you join me join me in this candle blessing to light the last virtual candle of human choice and righteousness. We light this candle in gratitude for those who chose to help others, but did not have to. This candle
Candle be
answers
there
the
just a
question.
question. Where was
Where
the
was
Where
the
human
was the
human
being
being
human
in
in
all
all
being in
of
this?
all of
this?
this?
He was
He was
He
there.
was
here.
there.
She
He
He
was
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 here.
there.
here.
Human
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 beings
beings
were
were
here,
here,
choosing
choosing,
acting,
acting, refusing
refusing
silence.
silence.
whoever
Whoever
saves a
saves a
single life
single life
Using
is as if
is as
silence
if they've
saved the
saved
entire
the
world.
entire world.
by the world.
Okay, so before we end our service, I just want to say thank you for everybody for coming. I know you can see me hopefully a little bit in the screen. And I also want to tell you, I told a couple of people in the beginning, thank you for joining me online. I went to go check the candles the other night. It was 82 to 85 degrees in my building, and they weren't melting, but I opened the box, and you know how that you have that waxy smell that is coming out when all the candles get too warm? I figured we would be miserable. So thank you very much for joining me online. I had it attempted. I had all the candles. I had ordered beautiful new candles. And we'll get to use them next year. So thank you for joining me online. I don't have any announcements per se, except for just a quick little couple things, because we are moving forward in life. These are life cycles, and we need to keep going. So we need to remember, and we need to move forward. So we're moving forward. Next week, we have next week on April 25th, we have our Shabbat Saturday service. It will be in person and online. And I am so encouraged by all the people who helped us, helped me, and helped us as a community tonight. And hopefully, some of you may be able to join us online again, if not in person. If you join in person, I promise I will feed you. And we will share a nice time of fellowship together. And then I want to let you know about something special happening in May. On May 16th, we will be having a baby naming. It is a boy baby, so the naming is just the fun part of it. Really, we'll be redeeming a firstborn child again. So it's been about a year since we had one of those. So it's kind of a really interesting service. Many people don't get to see it. So I encourage you to come online in May or come in person and help give the baby's parent either a shekel or a shiny silver quarter to help the parents redeem them from the temple. Even though we don't have a temple right now, it's still a very interesting service and a beautiful moving service. So that will be May 16th. That's the highlight. Then one more highlight. I just want to quickly tell you on June 20th, that is Father's Day weekend. So I know some of you are celebrating with your families, but we will have a double B'nai Mitzvah, a brother and sister will be coming up to the Bima for the first time. And then after that, I think they're moving to Korea. So very exciting time for them and us. Then we will be taking a small break this summer, and then we will be starting back up. Our first service back in summer will be another B'nai Mitzvah. It will be a girl, and the Goldens will be coming up for their daughter's Bat Mitzvah, and that will be our first service after our short summer break. We will have stuff in the meantimes, in the middle, and I'm hoping to have a picnic. So I'm hoping all of you can join me for the summer picnic. I'll give you more information. We'll have some hot dogs and hamburgers outside on the grill, and then a little bit of time of fellowship and stuff. So maybe a bouncy house for kids, who knows? So that is the announcements that I have of just the highlights of stuff coming up. And I think Seth has his hand raised. Seth, we've got a few minutes for announcements yet, so you're good to go.
Yeah, thank you very much. First, I want to thank you very much for having this service and everybody else's. I also want to thank them for sticking to the Army doctrine of adapting and overcoming our current environment. So, thank you for that, Madison, and rotating to an online venue. There are some additional announcements I just want everybody to know about. They went out yesterday or the day before. We're going to be having a council meeting on next Tuesday evening. The link sent out, we'll send it out again. Please join us for this meeting because this congregation is only as good as its members, and we want to get your input into all of our activities and things that you want the congregation to be. So please join us there. The next thing I want to double tap or double stomp next week's Torah service. Just please come, show up, and we need to have a minyan. It's exceptionally important to have a minyan so that we can actually read the Torah. And if you show up, the first three who show up, you'll get an aliyah. How's that? Um, and then after that, that's going to be on Saturday. And then the following Sunday, the next day on the 26th at 7 o'clock, we're going to have a High Holy Day planning meeting. And yes, that's right. High Holy Days are coming up only 5 months away. So we need to start our detailed planning in it, and we need your volunteerism to help us out and to help us, plan and then set up and execute our high holy days. It's the most important season of the year, not the most important day, but the most important season of the year. And we really need your participation in that. So please help us plan it. We sent the link out. We'll send it out again, but I just wanna double stomp those couple of events. One other thing, I just want to, again, thank you, Madison, for having it's a very special service. And I think for all of us on this call, the show is a very important thing in our lives. It's influenced us in many, many ways. And, I just want to share, if I can here. Um, this is a book that I read several years ago called The Nazi Doctors, and it kind of answers the question as to how something like this could happen. The author is a criminal psychologist who works for the New York City Police Department. They sell this on Amazon. You can actually get it in the bookstore at the National Holocaust Museum downtown. And after reading it, it really opened up my eyes as to how a society can put something like this into effect, something evil into effect, and enlighten society at that, and how everything could just turn evil. So I highly recommend it. And again, as Madison had said, we each have to think of the important decisions that we have before us every day, and hopefully we will be making the right decisions for ourselves and for our posterity. So again, thank you very much, Madison. I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you for
Shabbat
staying.
shalom.
Thank you. Thank you for staying on for one more minute, because I definitely would like us to bless each other. So I can bless you, but how much better is it when we come together and say a blessing together? God always says when there's three or more in our presence that everything is magnified. And that is why us Jews, we don't do things in small numbers. We decided it's 10. We need 10. So we have 10. So here we go with this strong blessing. Let's close out our service and just bring ourselves Shabbat joy. And just so you know, for those of you who will be hanging up right after this call, you've got a few more minutes to light your candles right after this. So you still have a little bit of time. So here we go. We leave
Leave
this
this
place
place
carrying
carrying
memory
memory of
Memory of
those who
those who
came
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 before
before
us,
before
us,
us.
strength
strength
for
for those
those
who
who
are
are
here
here
now,
now, hope
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 for
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 those
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 who will
who
who
come
come
will come
after
after
us.
after
us.
us.
May
May
what we
what
What
we
have
have
we
remembered
remembered
here
here
shape
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 how
how
we
how
we
we
live
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 beyond this
beyond
moment.
this
beyond this
moment.
moment.
On this moment.
So I want to say to everyone a heartfelt Shabbat Shalom. And I just wish you peace over the weekend, health and healing. And I just want to let you know that I am here, and I am so grateful that you joined me. One quick thing I did forget to say for those of our online people, as we work on High Holy Holiday services, I will be leading High Holy Holiday services and have an online presence. So if you do know that you are going to be there for High Holy Holidays and you'd like the online, or you have friends and family that can't get to a service and would like to go online, great to let me know ahead of time, because then I can make sure that I have materials prepared so I can send them to people who join us when they're not in our synagogue. Thank you so much, and you guys have a great weekend, and I will, I'm here if you want to say otherwise. I'm going to stop the recording.